hey there, American Farmsteadhers. This is Jenny with the Gramstead Family Farm. And of course, I'm here with Donna from Hazelbell Farm.
Hey.
Hey. So we are coming to y'all today to talk about something near and dear to Donna's heart.
Yes.
That I know very little about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's true. It's true. So we thought it would be fun to get together and talk all about milk cows. Milk cows. And I think that there's a lot of people within the homesteading community that are definitely interested in milk cows. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of that thing, I feel like, that people are kind of a little more leery, a little more kind of, I don't want to say afraid to get into, but it's a big responsibility, I feel like.
It's definitely a commitment.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those commitments. It's definitely different than, hey, we're going to get 10 egg-laying hens.
Right, right. With a short life expectancy and a lot of hands-off.
Yeah.
You're able to do hands-off care, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's, hands-off kind of care in animals are kind of my forte.
Okay.
I really love low-maintenance animals, which is why I love my sheep and all of my free-range chickens. And, even my cows. I'm pretty hands-off with the cows that I have, except for with the exception of, like, moving them and stuff like that. I got all that down.
Right.
But, as a whole, I'm pretty hands off. So I've always been,
A milking animal, you're definitely going to put your hands on.
Right.
There's no way around that.
Right. Every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 times a day.
Yeah. So I thought it would be a fun conversation to have.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
It is.
And I'll talk forever.
Right. It's what your whole farm revolves around.
Yeah, I've said that many times in the past, and I tell people that regularly, that the milk cow is the center of our farm.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how farms and homesteads operate without a dairy animal. if it's, a couple of goats or a couple of sheep or a cow, I don't get how you're functioning without it.
Yeah. Well, I buy milk from the store.
Right?
And cheese from the store.
Well.
And all the other things.
Yeah.
For years I have always kind of toyed around with the idea and one day I really do feel like I probably will end up with a milk cow. So yeah, maybe a mini, something like that. Just for us though. I don't want to go all in and do like feed license and sell milk and yeah, you laugh.
Well, I'm laughing because nobody goes into it saying that. Like nobody says, I can't wait to have the milk cow so I can sell the milk.
Right.
I don't know anybody who went that route.
Right.
So
you just end up with so much milk that
what are you going to do with it?
What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. Well, and there are other things that we do with our extra milk besides sell it. We didn't always sell it. Yeah. So we can talk all about that.
Yeah. So I figured we would start out today and really just talk about the basics. That way, if there's anybody out there in the Farmsteadher community that is interested in learning all about basic milk cow stuff, this is the episode. Yeah. So we'll just jump right in.
Okay.
I have a list of questions.
Okay. That's good.
And I know that you're going to have all the answers.
Okay. I hope they're right.
So let's start off with the actual cow. Like, what are our options? You can go with a calf that you buy younger, or you can maybe try to find something that is already trained.
Right.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on that?
I have thoughts on that. And I have conflicting thoughts on that.
And you have experience with both.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So I always tell people, if you are not familiar with large animals or you're not familiar with milking animals, to buy the trained cow.
Yes.
Find a cow in milk or ready to calf soon, either with a calf at her side or soon to calf, and that has been trained already. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say you won't have hiccups when you first start milking. I mean, you're still learning, and every lactation is different for the
Okay.
animal, and they're never really happy at first to get in there because they have just birthed. You know,
Right.
they are sore, they are tired,
Right.
they might be a little cranky.
Right.
So even the best cows, you're going to have hiccups with. But I always say that because it does come back to them. The routine that they've been handled before, it's not, touching their udders is not new to them. And so I always say, get the trained cow.
Yes.
However, I didn't do it like that.
Right.
And if I had it to do over again, I would do it exactly like I did it.
You would do it like you did it, yeah.
So, yeah, I bought the untrained, the young heifer.
Yep.
And she was just a few days old when we got her, and we bottle raised her, got her healthy. She wasn't healthy. Raised her up, had her bred, and she and I both learned together. So that's hard. I mean, it's hard.
Hard, and essentially you're talking about probably close to a 2-year time period, at least.
At least. She was turning 3 years old when she calved.
Wow.
Her first lactation.
Yeah. So if you're into instant gratification,
The milk cow's not it.
that is not.
No, and this is a conversation I had with a friend recently. Was like, I hate that their gestation is so long. It's just like people.
Yeah.
And 280, 278 days is like forever, and that's
a labor of love right there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're putting in the time.
the wait time.
Yeah.
You gotta have some patience. So yeah, if we had a lot of money into that cow before we ever put milk on the table.
Yeah. I bet. A lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah.
So your opinion is go trained.
Get a trained cow. You're going to pay more for a trained cow than you're going to pay for just a young heifer, obviously.
Yeah.
A young heifer has no experience. She has nothing proven, If you're getting a trained cow, you know that you're getting, first of all, a cow who has the ability to breed. Because there's that whole conversation where people kind of get cheated a little bit because they don't know what they're buying and they end up with a free martin who can't breed. You know that you are buying something that you will have a little more instant gratification with, and you'll get that milk sooner, and you're not feeding milk replacer in bottles or buying raw milk to feed in bottles.
Right.
It's your time frame is shorter, and that's nice. But then also, if you get one with a calf at her side or to calf soon so that she will have a calf at her side, then you can milk share or calf share.
Yes. Which that is actually on my list of questions. We are going to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about what to look for in the trained milk cow. Okay. What are we looking for? Say if we know nothing about buying a milk cow, what are the essentials that you want your trained cow to have?
Okay. I'm going to say, first of all, you want to have a mentor or purchase from somebody who's willing to mentor you, who's willing to answer questions even after you purchase and doesn't just shut the door and say, okay, bye-bye.
Right.
And wash their hands of you. Definitely have somebody who can show you the ropes a little bit and answer questions when you're having a hard time. But if you have a friend who can go with you or look at an animal with you, that helps as well. Just because if the untrained eye doesn't know what it doesn't know. So my first thing is, are they crazy? Because some cows are crazy.
Yeah, no, we don't need any crazies.
No, we don't keep crazy at our house at all. At
No.
our farm. So the first thing that I do when I'm approaching a cow to see, do I want to bring it home, is touch her, and I touch her on the face.
Right.
And they don't all like that. Some of them love it, some of them don't. If I can't touch her on the face, then I run my hands down her back legs, and then cautiously, expecting a kick.
Right.
I hope I don't get a kick, but expecting a kick, we'll reach under her udder and see, how does she react?
What kind of reaction you get?
Does she flinch at all? Does she kick at all? And that just kind of tells me, has she been handled there? So, if you're buying a heifer who hasn't been trained, you still want to do that same thing and see, has she been handled? Has she been brushed on her belly?
Okay.
Can you pick up her feet? which is not always easy, even with a trained cow.
Yeah.
So it's not a deal breaker, but you just want to be able to touch her all over without her freaking out. That's my first thing.
Okay, that's major.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't have those and you're really looking for a trained milk cow, that would be a no-go.
No go. Yeah. So, secondly, you want to like look at condition, and which is hard for people
For
who
dairy
are not
cows.
used to dairy cows. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like beef cows, you use a condition scale of 1 through 10, and 5 being medium, 7 is like they say 6 and 7 is perfect, 10 is overweight, and 1 is severely underweight. Well, dairy cows only use a scale of 1 to 5, and so so your 3
Did not know that.
your 3 is perfect. And so you can go online, you can Google that scale and kind of get some pictures of what underweight looks like versus overweight. You definitely don't want an overweight cow just as much as you don't want an underweight cow. Overweight cows are hard to breed.
Yep.
And especially dairy. So
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know what being dairy, what kind of difference that makes, but it does. My AI guy says it does. And so, like when we AI our cows, our beef cows get 1 semen straw, and our dairy cows get 2.
Really?
Yes, 12 hours or 12 to 24 hours apart.
Interesting.
12 hours apart.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, but when he comes and does the beef cows, he's like, she's good. And she always is. So, yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. So overweight dairy cows are definitely something to be cautious of. I'm not saying don't buy it.
Right.
But she's gonna have to drop some weight to breed.
Okay.
And be healthy. And you always want them on the upswing when you breed anyway. So an underweight cow is a lot easier to put weight on than an overweight cow is to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that
makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. You want them climbing in health. You're
Yeah.
always getting better whenever you breed.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I always tell people is, and this was something that I recently learned probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, is that when was the last time they were bred? So how old are they? And basically, like, how old are they? How many calvings have there been?
Okay.
And when was the last time she calved?
Okay.
And the reason for that is if she's had a lot of open period during her life, she has spent eggs.
Yes.
So, just like
fertility is dropping.
Fertility is dropping, yes.
Yeah.
So, like, just like people, she was born with all of the eggs she's ever going to produce.
Right.
And so if she's been open, they cycle every 3 weeks. And so if you're looking at a 5 or 6 year old cow who's never calved, and they'll tell you, well, she's healthy, she's just never been exposed to a bull, or I just didn't have the time to manage, to get her to a bull or whatever. And that might be the case, but she has spent eggs, and some of your, like a Jersey, they start cycling as early as 4 months. A lot of times, 4 months old.
Okay.
So every 3 weeks after that, she's spent an egg.
Right.
So it's easy for them to have reproductive problems, and her fertility life is shortened that way.
Okay.
So those are some questions to ask for sure.
Okay. And then, do you prefer something that's like already halter trained?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, but it's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
I've halter trained a few girls, and it's sometimes Eric has to handle it because he's stronger than I am. And depending on the size of the girl, if they're big and they're not halter trained, and I want them halter trained, they'll fight for sure. They'll fight the rope. So if you can find one who's already trained, that's good.
So say what if there's a cow, like for instance, Hershey, my big black Angus, not that she's a milk breed, but she's not halter trained, but very calm. She'll follow me wherever I need to have her follow me.
Right.
A cow like that, is it a necessity that cow is halter trained to be a milk cow?
I wouldn't say necessity. I mean, I think at that point it's personal preference. It's, what are you willing to take on?
Right.
I mean,
what's
we have
the comfort
cows
level?
Like that, and I actually just posted a video on my YouTube channel about, because we had to draw blood from a couple cows, and our Rosie is not halter trained.
Okay.
But she will go where I want her to go.
Okay.
And I could, like a cow like that, like Hershey too, I feel like you probably could put a halter on her and she would be okay.
Yeah. I think that she's had halters on before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she probably
Because of her
would figure it out.
Because of her previous owner.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and that's how our Rosie is.
Yeah.
I still got her where I needed her to go without a halter. We even stuck both of these cows without haltering them at all.
Okay.
So that's the temperament that I'm looking for. Are they feed motivated?
Right.
Are they very trained to a bucket?
Right.
That'll do.
Right.
You know.
Because essentially you would be milking in a stanchion probably, and that stanchion is going to help keep that cow in place, not necessarily the halter.
Right.
Okay.
So like my Maple, I call her my business cow. She's all business all the time. she doesn't love to be loved on, which is funny for me, for a dairy cow. She doesn't like her face touched. She doesn't like her head touched. She will take scratches on her back end and like along her sides with a brush.
Right.
She likes to be brushed, but she doesn't want me to hang and hug on her and all of that. Like where some of the cows, they do. They like it. So getting a halter on her is a real pain in the butt, and she will walk on a halter, but she doesn't love it.
Okay.
And so the only way I actually get a halter on her is once she's in the stanchion where she is secured.
Okay.
And then I pretty much have to jump in there and put a halter on her if I know I'm going to need a halter. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But she stands perfectly to milk. Like she comes in, she eats, she milks. The only time she kicks is she hates cats. And the barn kitties will run by like a blur, like so fast. And I don't even see them coming. That's the only time she kicks is when the cats run by when she's milking. So other than that, she's a great cow.
Okay.
So she just doesn't like to be loved.
Okay. So when you're looking for the trained cow, you're looking for, can they be touched? What their history is as far as calving and all of that goes. And was there a third thing?
Did I say something else? I don't remember.
I know we talked about halter training a little bit.
Yeah.
Is a pro, I guess, but not a deal breaker if they're not halter trained.
Right.
Okay.
You want to know, you want to make sure that all four quarters are working, or at least know if they're not. So you might come across a cow who has a blind quarter.
Okay.
And by that, I mean the udder has 4 chambers and with 4 teats, and each one is separate from the other.
Okay.
When she lets down her milk, they will all let down, so she can't like control the left and not the right or something like that. But they all produce separately from one another, and it's not uncommon to have one quarter produce more than the others or less than the others. But you want to know, is there one that's dead or blind?
Okay.
And why?
Okay.
Was she born that way?
Right.
Or does she have a history of mastitis problem?
Right. Yeah. I guess that would be a very important question to ask. Like, if they have been milked in the past, what is their mastitis history?
Yes.
Because I guess once they've had it, they're more prone to it. Okay.
Yeah. If they've had a severe case, they will develop scar tissue within that quarter.
Okay.
And it is easy for them to get it again. Yeah.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, as far as like her health history goes, not just mastitis, but you want to know, what has she needed to be treated for?
Okay.
What has she, you need to learn about metabolic issues like ketosis and milk fever or hypocalcemia and things like that. So you want to know, and if you're able to, you want to know about her dam also. Okay. How did she milk? Okay. What kind of milking lines are they? That kind of thing.
All right. Lots of good stuff to find out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not always possible. It's actually not usually possible unless you're purchasing off of a dairy or somebody, who has a breeding program running.
Right.
That's not always possible.
Okay. All right, so moving on. Next, I want to know all about breeds.
Okay.
Pros and cons of different breeds, because I know you have a couple, 2 or 3 different breeds of dairy cows out here right now. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. From a homestead standpoint?
Yes.
Okay. So from a homestead standpoint and from a micro dairy standpoint, I wouldn't call myself even a micro dairy. We're below that. We're smaller than that. But for both, I like the Jersey.
What is it that you like about the Jerseys?
I like their temperament.
Okay.
I like their trainability.
Okay.
I like their volume.
Okay.
And I like their butterfat content the best.
Okay.
So not all dairy cows, you're not going to get a lot of butter fat from them.
Okay.
And that's what we're after when we're milking for the homestead here. We're after butter.
Right.
And
Because
cream.
essentially you want the cream for butter, for ice cream,
Yes.
for sour cream,
Yes. Cream
things
cheese.
of that nature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We like the higher fat content. It also grows a baby real fast when, their calves are on them.
Yeah.
So we like them for
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah. Generally, I have found that our Jerseys will take on extra babies. So
Okay.
if you want to graft another calf on and raise a little beef calf.
Okay.
Our Hazel always raised 2 or 3 calves every year.
Nice.
And one was hers.
Yeah.
So she did a good job at that.
Okay.
We would pick up an extra, an orphan, and she would raise them. So Jerseys are good for that. Like I said, their temperament, production. Production varies, and that's going to vary within breed, but it's also going to vary just, from cow to cow.
With the individual cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a cow's very first lactation sets them up for all of their future lactations.
Okay.
And then whenever they do freshen, at that first 6 to 8 weeks of milking sets them up for the rest of that lactation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So if she had a really good, strong first lactation, her future lactations are going to be better.
History repeats itself.
Yeah, and they'll peak like their 3rd or 4th lactation.
Okay.
Usually, I've heard stories where cows are 8 and 10 years old when they peak, and like they really,
Wow.
get it in gear. So
That's such a long time.
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's unusual.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay. So do you have a second favorite breed?
yeah, I do. So we had a brown Swiss last year.
Or wait, are there any cons about the Jersey?
There are cons about the Jersey.
What are the cons about the Jersey?
So generally, they are higher producing.
Okay.
Not higher producing. How should I say that? Generally, they're higher producing than a homestead needs.
Right.
And so you're going to have an extra amount of milk to figure out what to do with.
Right.
We like to skim the cream off and toss the skim to pigs and chickens.
Yeah. And we always have pigs. I would really probably always have a place for extra milk.
Yes, absolutely. And, I've heard countless stories or warnings of you can't feed that to any number of animals. Cats. Cats is the big one. People insist on telling me you can't feed milk to cats. It will give them diarrhea and they will die. It is not true. Let me tell you about my barn cats. They know the sound.
Yes.
They know, they are into routine. They're very smart little critters.
I've seen that in some of your milking videos where you put a couple squirts in that metal bucket and here come the barn cats.
They hear it and they want it. Yes. So yeah, be careful what you start. Dogs, cats, pigs, chickens, they all eat it.
Okay.
So, we haven't had any of them get sick from it. So yeah.
Can you use it in the garden?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I guess calcium, hello.
Well, it's not just the calcium though, but it's a live product. So, we can do a
Right.
whole other episode on just raw milk and the benefits of it and the products you get from raw milk. But it's a live product. If it hasn't been pasteurized, you're not buying that in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But when you produce it on your homestead, you have active cultures, you have live good bacteria, and adding that into your compost, into your garden beds, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely using it to help build soil here in our new gardens.
Okay. So I guess it's not really a con that the Jersey produces so much milk. It's just you got to figure out what in the heck you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that's a con in my book.
Right.
To me.
Which essentially means that you're just going to learn new skills.
Yeah.
You're going to learn new things because you got to find out what to do with all this milk.
Yeah. The real cons, I would say, is that they are prone to mastitis,
Okay.
ketosis,
Okay.
and hypocalcemia or milk fever.
Okay.
They are prone to that. Those are things, especially your higher producers.
Okay.
And you just have to learn how to manage that. Some of that can be managed with diet and not feeding them high calcium things at the wrong times in their lives, like when they're expecting.
Right.
Knowing the signs and then having the things on hand to be able to treat that, and a good vet in your back pocket.
Yes.
When you need them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, anytime you have large animals, you got to get set up with a good vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, second favorite breed.
I do like the brown Swiss.
Okay.
We had that. The big girls.
Yes.
We had her for about a year last year, and she was a good cow. She was sassy. She was big and sassy.
Yeah.
But she was good to milk, and her milk was so amazing. Like, her butter fat was comparable to the Jersey fat.
Okay.
Except it was softer and fluffier is the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when I made butter with Jersey cream, it was it would make a more dense butter.
Okay.
When I made butter with the same amount of heavy cream from the brown Swiss milk,
Okay.
it just was a softer, creamier.
Right.
I don't know how else to describe it. Almost like a greasier
Uh-huh.
butter. This doesn't sound
Right.
appealing though, so I don't want to use that word. But it just was softer. The cheese.
Well, just like there's some cheeses that are harder and are softer.
The best cheeses I've ever made came with that brown Swiss milk.
Okay.
The cheese was perfect every time. It didn't matter if I got it wrong; it still was great.
Okay.
And I'm a pretty amateur cheese maker, but that brown Swiss milk was excellent for making cheese. I liked her for that reason, just for the product that she gave us. Now she was a bigger girl and needed more feed. So that's something to consider.
That's definitely something to consider. The size of the cow. I mean,
Yeah.
big cows take more input. So much more input.
Yeah, and then again, genetics play a role in that. So like your Jerseys are generally a smaller cow.
Smaller build.
But you have some that are harder to keep than others. Some are built more feminine. Like they stand with their feet together. They have a slender chest.
Right.
Those cows generally have no fertility issues. Like they'll breed faster.
Okay.
And are higher producing.
Okay.
Your Jerseys that stand a little wider and aren't quite as feminine, they're a little more bully-like in the herd.
Interesting.
Around, yes. They generally produce less and might not breed back as quickly.
That's so interesting how like such a small observation is like so profound.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is.
That's super interesting. I had never heard that before.
So,
other breeds that you love?
other breeds, we've got a Holstein here.
Okay.
I never had a desire for a Holstein.
Yeah, which is another bigger cow.
Another bigger cow. Yeah, they are generally big girls.
High producers.
High producers. They produce a lot. You can get 12 gallons a day out of a Holstein.
Okay.
I'm not looking for that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
like,
and-
oh my goodness.
And now this is like speaking in very general terms though. So they generally produce a lot of gallons, but less butter fat content percentage per gallon.
Okay.
I have this Holstein here who is a lower producing girl for a Holstein,
Okay.
and her cream, her butter fat was excellent once we separated her calf.
Okay.
That's the whole thing.
Right.
So yeah, we didn't have any trouble. It wasn't as good as your Jersey cream, but it was great, good, old,
Right.
heavy cream.
So do you have a favorite mini milk cow?
I don't have experience with
Right.
minis. And I don't have experience with a lot of your popular homestead type cows.
Yeah.
I'll label it that way. Like your Devons, your milking shorthorn. What else am I not thinking of? Like mini Jerseys are very popular.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a favorite of those because I don't have experience with those.
Yeah.
But if somebody said you have to pick one right now, it probably would be a mini Jersey.
It would be a mini Jersey.
Because
Yeah.
I love the Jersey.
Right.
So why not?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I think that a mini, something like that, is Zebu, is a good smaller breed.
Okay.
That works for a beef or a dairy.
Dexter's, I've heard.
Dexter's, that's a good one.
A good dual purpose that comes in a mini form, but I don't really have any like actual experience with Dexter's.
Right. They're supposed to be great tempered animal as well.
Yeah,
easy to keep.
Another good homestead cow. Yeah. So you touched on this a little bit about having things on hand when you were talking about like milk fever and ketosis and all that. But what are like some of your basic, like, I'm going to get started with a milk cow. What are the basics that you need to have?
Okay, very basic. You need a place to secure her to milk.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a stanchion. It doesn't have to be fancy. If she's a good girl and stands halter trains,
then you don't need the stanchion.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I've milked in the field before.
Right.
Several times.
Okay.
So without securing anybody.
Okay.
If I can bring them a bucket of food and they'll stand there for the bucket. Now that's not ideal. It's not perfect, but I've done it in weird circumstances of like not wanting to leave a calf, or a beef cow is not used to the stanchion but needed some relief. I've done that.
Okay.
A couple of times. But I would say a way to secure them. And then beyond that, you really just need like a good milking pail. I like stainless steel because it's washable. It's non-porous. Get a seamless bucket. Seams are places that bacteria can collect. It's harder to clean. So I like a seamless stainless steel bucket.
Yeah.
If you can find one with a lid, go for it. It just makes hauling it easier.
Right.
And then it's not necessary, but I like to milk into one big pail, and I like to have some separate cans with lids that I can pour off into, especially if you're new. Okay. If you are new or the cow's new, because stuff does happen where they kick.
Right.
And, it's
get something in the pail of milk.
They kick more.
Right.
Yeah. And so you want to be able, if they step in a bucket or they kick the bucket over, you don't want to lose 2 gallons of milk, right?
No.
So if I have some saved back in one of those extra cans, then I'm like, okay, well, I only lost half a gallon of milk.
Right.
So that's
makes
helpful.
sense.
Yeah. And then beyond that, I use chlorhexidine to wash udders with, and I use iodine as a teat dip. Okay. And white washcloths.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, the white washcloths makes sense. That way you can see the dirt. You're basically cleaning them until your cloth comes clean.
Right. You can see
so you need several. Like, how many cloths do you go out with?
I go out with 5 per cow.
Okay.
So if I'm milking one cow, I'll go with 5. I use a thermos with some hot water, a drop of soap in it. Okay. And just like regular Dawn dish soap. Okay. And once a rag has come out of there,
it doesn't go back in.
Right.
Right. So that way there's no cross-contamination. Yeah. Your rags are constantly going in clean.
Yep. And then I just use like a regular bucket with some bleach water in it to keep them in after I've used them. Right. Unless they're really bad. Like sometimes those girls, they'll lay their udder right in a pile of crap. Right. Like, why do you hate me? Right. And so, like, those rags, they have to get hosed out first before they make it into the bleach bucket. But and then I wash them once or twice a week, depending on how much we're going through. Yeah, so you basically just have a soak bucket. Mm-hmm. That's what I did when I used cloth diapers with the kids. Exactly. Yeah, you throw them in a soak bucket, and in a day or two, they all get washed. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So same concept. Mm-hmm. So a couple of different buckets you need. Mm-hmm. Chlorhexidine, iodine, washcloths, and a place to secure the cow. Yeah. And something to keep your milk in, containers. Right. I like to use half-gallon mason jars. Yeah. Because they... I was going to say because they're easy to find.
Not anymore. They fit in the fridge very nicely.
They do. They're easier for little hands to pour.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like those half-gallon glass jars. They are really nice. Mm-hmm. So what are basics as far as healthcare needs?
Very basic. Very, very basic. We do as much as we can to, only treat an animal if it needs to be treated. Like, we don't routinely worm in that. And we kind of treat all of our animals that way. Yeah. I mean, if somebody looks like they're having a hard time gaining weight, then obviously they've probably picked up a parasite. Yeah. And so we'll use like an ivermectin pour-on as a first step. Mm-hmm. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go to a more broad spectrum, like a shot, Dectomax or something like that. But I can count on my hands how many times I've needed to worm our cows.
Yeah.
So it really is like if you're somebody who's familiar with goats and you've been playing with the idea of jumping into the cow world, cows are much easier to keep than goats, and they're much more parasite resistant than goats.
Right. So if you're doing good with your dairy goats,
a cow's gonna be cake. It's gonna be so easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do keep the ivermectin on hand, and then other healthcare issues like we do keep some mastitis treatment if we need it. We try not to use it, and there are times we've gotten by without using it and gotten them out of the early signs of mastitis. We also will keep on hand some basic antibiotics. Again, I can count on my hands how many times
you've needed it. Yeah. But when situations come up, it's nice to have stuff on hand because you can't always find it these days.
Well, you can't always find it, and sometimes, always, it's going to be Friday night, when the vet doesn't answer the phone or it isn't coming to your farm.
Yeah.
And so thankfully we have a couple of good vets in the area that I'm able to call or text and say, hey, these are the symptoms. She's got a fever. We've got a thermometer dedicated to the cows, and she's got a fever. What do you recommend? I've got these things on hand.
Right.
And he'll tell me exactly what to use and how much to use. It's always more than what the bottle says, which is interesting to me.
Right.
But it's just some basic like LA200, some Pen G. We have let me think. We have a steroid we keep on hand. We have an anti-inflammatory we keep on hand. And we haven't needed them very much, but when we have needed it, I've asked the vet for a whole bottle instead of just a draw or two.
Right.
So that I have it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know that y'all built your own stanchion, right? Didn't you have Eric make you one with specific things?
Yeah, he did. I mean, I kind of had an idea and had a drawing that I showed him I needed to do this, and then he came up with the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what did you need it to do? What were what was on your list?
It just needs to hold the cow's head in place.
Okay.
So that's it. I mean, and you could just halter the cow and tie her to where you want her.
Right.
And she can't pull away from that. Like you want to tie her to the front of a stall.
Right.
That'll probably work.
Right.
The bigger thing is training her to not move her back end away.
Okay.
And, either get away from you in one direction or run you over in your direction. So.
Yes, whatever we can do to prevent from being run over by a cow.
Yes. It's always good. But so yeah, you just need her in a good place, and you can do that as simple as I have milked where I tied a cow to a fence, so the fence was a barrier on the far side,
right,
and then I put a T-post in the ground at her back hip on my side, so she couldn't swing out.
Okay.
And her head was tied at the front, so we were good.
Right.
That worked.
Okay.
So
it really doesn't have to be complicated.
No, it can be very basic. And when I did that in particular, we had just moved and I didn't have my stanchion set up, and it would be raining one morning and I had to milk. So I had a yard umbrella. My little milking station was up against the fence near the woods with a big umbrella stand and all. But it worked. We got the job done. So, now our stanchion that we use, I like to milk on concrete. I've done it all. I've done it in the field. I've done it in the mud. I've done it on concrete, and I like the concrete.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
That is nice to have the concrete. Easy to clean. Yep. Yeah.
So we're on concrete, and then the stanchion that we use, and then Eric actually added onto it later and built a good feeder, because cows waste feed.
Yeah, they do.
And so having a bucket or just a pan of feed, the problem I had was the cow would just spill feed everywhere.
Okay.
Which brought in bugs and rats and just a waste of money.
Yeah.
Really. And so we have a big, wide feeder trough that she can't lose money.
Right.
Yeah, she can't lose money.
Right.
She can't lose
Literally.
feed, which is my money. But yes, and then in front of that, where she puts her head in, we just use a simple hinging option on the top. So it's like 4x4s and 2x4s, and
Right.
it works easily.
Feeders attached to it. She can't knock it over.
Mm-mm. And most times, most of my girls, once they're trained, they come in. I don't need to close their heads in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to secure them that well. They just stand there and eat.
Yeah. They know the routine.
Sometimes I get a crazy girl who just, not crazy, but like, she just wants to look around.
Yeah.
She wants to back out and see what's going on, and why is somebody moving over there? What's that noise? And so, like, okay, we're locking you down.
Right. Back to business.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about feed requirements while we're talking about feed a little bit? Is there with my beef cows, for instance, it's hay, minerals, and wintertime, I'll throw them some feed. Mm-hmm. What about your dairy cows?
So your dairy cows are bred for production. They're bred to be machines.
Okay.
Quite honestly, especially like if you're not getting one of these good dual purpose cows like a Devon or a Shorthorn or something like that. If you're getting a Jersey or a Holstein or a Brown Swiss, they're really not dual purpose. I mean, you can eat beef off of anything.
Right.
But they are bred to make milk. They are machines.
Yes. And I will tell you, some of the best beef that I ever had was an Angus Jersey cross.
That is some of our best beef as well.
Yeah.
No.
So, but
Yeah.
all right, back to feed requirements.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, oh gosh, I should have written this down. I've gotten it fine-tuned down to how many scoops in the bucket. So
Right.
I can't remember how many pounds, but I want to say it's 5 pounds. She needs 3 pounds of feed per every gallon of milk that she produces, but that doesn't sound right. I think it's 5 pounds of feed for every gallon she produces. It's 3 or 5. I should have known that before we started.
Now, does that change if you have good pasture?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're also going to always offer good either pasture or hay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good long stem roughage is first,
Yeah.
and then grain is second.
Okay.
And then as far as like what to feed them in grain, I mean, I feed them the same feed that I'm feeding my beef cows.
You feed them ranch mix?
I do.
Okay.
It's a 15% protein. And so whatever components you want out of that protein, you want somewhere 15 to 18%.
Okay.
Some people feed them a higher percentage, but I don't know how they're doing that without throwing their cows into ketosis because, giving them permanent loose manure.
Okay.
But they're doing, and maybe they're really pushing their cows. I don't know. I try not to do that, but I feed them the ranch mix that we get from our local mill.
Okay.
It has corn and soy, and you can spout all the evils of that if you want, but it works for my cows.
Yeah.
And it also has some like cotton seed hull, and actually we had cotton growing out in our field.
Seriously?
Yeah, it had to be from the cow feed. It's so funny. Like it bloomed and opened and everything.
Really?
Yes.
That is crazy.
It was wild. But so it has cotton seed hull, and it has all kinds of other things. And then I add in, depending on the cow and what she looks like as far as production goes, as far as her weight goes. Mm-hmm. Does she need to gain weight? I will bump up her feed. The problem is you can't just milk less. Like you can't say, I want her to gain weight, I'm not going to milk as much.
Okay.
Because she will lower production.
Right.
But then you risk a case of mastitis as well.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. We use different tricks like alfalfa pellets, rice bran or rice bran oil. That's been a really good one. We're using peanut meal right now. And I did use that when they were milking. We're not milking anybody right now. I'm on a break, which is kind of weird.
Right.
But I'm on a break. But yeah, we use peanut meal.
Okay.
We use like the range cattle cubes.
Yeah.
For some extra protein.
Yeah.
I just like to soak all those things. And then the other thing is I like to ferment our feed. Mm-hmm. It may not be like what you truly call fermented, but I soak it 24 hours and whatever ferment they get out of that is great.
Right. That's what they get.
Yeah. With a little splash of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
So, split peas, black oil sunflower seeds, all of those things can be added. And then you just have to kind of watch like your flavor of your milk. What they eat can affect the flavor.
Okay.
Like in the spring when the grass really starts coming in, you might get some cowy kind of milk.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But we do tricks like add some vitamin E, just the same kind like you or I might take.
Right.
Some capsules and dose them for their weight. So it's like a handful of them.
Right. The whole bottle of vitamin E.
Yeah. But then also things like black oil sunflower seeds are good vitamin E.
Okay.
To a point, you could also overdo that and get a funky taste in your milk too.
Yeah.
So something to play with.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about what to watch for when you're milking your cows, because I know that you watch for certain things. I know that on the daily, you're pretty much on the lookout for mastitis. Like, what are those kind of things that you're looking out for?
Yeah. So my first thing is I'm going to wash teats. And when I do that, I'm checking her teats for any sores, cuts off of a calf's teeth, or she may have found herself in the woods and, got cut on a sticker vine or something like that. Yeah. So I'm looking for that every day. And then we strip milk in. I should be stripping milk into a bowl, but the cats drive me crazy. So we strip, and the vet does it like this too. He just strips it onto her feet or onto the ground, and you can see it. You're looking for clumps. And then the same thing after I'm done milking, we funnel our milk into jars and we filter it with, it's basically like a paper filter. Okay. And you could use a reusable filter, or like some people use cheesecloth and that kind of thing. To me, it's not worth it. That's the thing I'll use that is not reusable. I'm looking for clots. Okay. I'm looking for any clumps. That sounds gross. Right. And it can be gross. It can be gross. I'm looking for any off color. If she had gotten in a tussle with another cow and maybe got hit in the udder or kicked or something like that, she might have some broken blood vessels and have some blood in her milk. Okay. If she's sick, she might have blood in her milk. These are all very rare things. These are very rare occurrences, but they are something just to be mindful of. Right. Okay. So yeah, you're looking for anything would be the obvious sign of any type of infection or injury. Yeah, if her udder is hot or hard. Okay. Or you're suddenly getting less production. Okay. If you have a cow who gives 3 gallons a day and you go out one morning and milk and she gives a gallon. Okay. Something's not right. Okay. And there are some kind of like test strips or something too, right? Yeah. So you can do the California mastitis test is a good one. Okay. It's a little kit and it's a little paddle, and you put a little milk from each quarter in it and a little solution like a dye, and you swirl it around, and it's easy to tell if they have mastitis or not in that. The paper strips that you can get, the Dr. Nailor's cards, like from Tractor Supply or whatever, you can use those, and that's a good first step. Okay. So that basically just tells the pH, and so if the pH is off, then that is a sign of mastitis. Okay. Now, do you use any of those things, or if you're seeing clumps or any sign of infection, are you just automatically treating for mastitis, or are you actually like testing for it? Yes and no. So it depends on the cow. So if she has recently had mastitis, then I will use those cards like once a week. Sometimes I every Friday I'm going to run a card just to make sure the pH is right. Okay. Because like I said, it's a good first step. Right. If I'm seeing clumps, I know she has mastitis. Okay. Even if it's very early. Okay. Because clumps are unusual. So my first step then is not to run a test. There's no point in it. I know that there's an issue. Is to milk more. So if we're on once a day milking, I'm going to milk twice a day and see if that alone gets her through it. Okay. Push electrolytes and water and maybe back off the grain a little bit, because more protein in her grain is going to make her produce more. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So 2 or 3 times a day. Okay. You might have to go 3 times a day. And then if the clumps aren't clearing up after a couple of milkings, then we'll use an intramammary antibiotic. Okay. That's the next step. Okay. Now, it would behoove us to take milk samples to a lab and have them culture it to see what exactly is causing the mastitis. Oh, okay. So, like, it could be an E. coli, because she laid in the poop. Right. Kind of thing. It could be staph. Like if she has staph A, that's pretty much incurable. Okay. I should do that. I have not taken those steps because I haven't found a local lab who will do it.
Okay. Well, and that would probably be something that you would want to do if it's maybe like a reoccurring problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's really figure out what is the
Right.
cause of the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other day, I heard somebody talking about treating for mastitis with bentonite clay. They were making a paste out of it, and putting it on the cow's udder to like draw out they said it would help draw out the infection and draw out the heat out of the udder, and that is like their first step in treating
Okay.
it. But I had never heard that before.
I mean, in theory, that sounds great. I don't think that's something I'd put a lot of stock into for my
Right.
cow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose my cow because I refuse to treat her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because I said no, it has to only be holistic, and clay
No.
is the answer. Maybe that works. I don't know,
Okay.
but I don't think I would bet on it
Right.
for my cow.
Yeah.
Now I have used colloidal silver,
Okay.
and that I've put right up into the teat,
Okay.
and that has worked. So
Okay.
I've used some other things, like some herbal remedy kind of things that you feed to them. There's something called Mastoblast.
Okay.
That's really good. And then a lot of cows, especially like if it's a heifer and it's her first freshening, they'll produce a lot of edema when they calve, like right before they calve and then when they calve. And a lot of that swelling happens around the udder. And so it's hard to know, is she milked out and this is just edema, or is she holding back milk?
Right.
And so this was something that I had a hard time with the first time my first cow calved. She had so much swelling, and her udder was so hard, and I didn't know, like, is this edema? Is this milk? And so I kept milking, and she kept producing, and she did develop mastitis.
Okay.
At that first time, and because I didn't know, and that's part of the get a mentor. I had no mentor, and that's part of the get a trained cow.
Right.
That's what she's doing, and we'll let down when she comes in the stanchion. So
See, I knew you would have very valid reasons for all of your answers.
yeah, definitely. So like we keep some of those intramammary antibiotics on hand, and because you never know.
Okay. All right. So, what about having a milk cow just with the milk cow, or do you recommend like a calf sharing type of a setup? Let's talk about both of those.
Okay, so if you get just a milk cow,
Yep.
and there's no calf,
Yep.
you are married to milking the cow every single day while she's in milk.
Right.
There's no days off.
Twice a day, though, right? Or
It could be twice a
depending.
day. It depends on where she is in her lactation and how much she's producing.
Okay.
So if she comes to you milking twice a day, you're going to have to milk twice a day until you get her down to once a day. And that's different for every cow.
Right.
So depending on what her max production capability is compared to what she is when you get her.
Okay.
So
calf sharing sounds like it would be a lot
I
easier.
prefer it. Well, okay, so I used to say you have to calf share. Like that's the only way to do it.
Right.
And I'm not that it is the only way to do it, but it is the easier way to do it, especially if you're starting out. If you're first starting out and you're learning, you don't know necessarily if you've gotten all the milk, and if you don't, then you risk mastitis, you risk lowering production. Whereas if you have a calf and you don't, and you turn her back with her calf, that calf's going to clean up.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And then also I like to take a day off a week, and the calf is great for that. So
Yeah.
like, and especially if we know, like if there's a hurricane coming, I know I don't want to go out and milk when there's a hurricane coming.
Right.
If I don't have a calf, guess what?
Right. You got to be out there
I'm
milking.
going to be out there doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think if I would ever do this, I would have to have a calf.
Yeah. But if you don't have a calf
Yeah.
on her, you get more cream.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, they hold back that cream, and nobody can tell me how they do it. And
Right.
I have some people who say that makes no sense, and it really doesn't. But they do hold back, and they don't give you all the cream until you pull that calf off for weaning, and then you get a lot of cream, especially your Jersey.
So when you're calf sharing, when are you doing like your separation? At night?
I do it at night.
Do the calves like cry? Are they sad?
At first.
Okay. But they get used to
it's like
it?
when you separate them for good, for weaning
Right.
a calf off of a mama. Yeah, they get used to it.
So are you just putting them in different pastures, or are you like putting your calves in a stall?
I stall my calf.
Okay.
So the idea there is, if I put them in separate pastures, you risk somebody jumping a fence, either mama or baby.
Yeah, very true.
It's probably going to happen.
Probably going to happen.
We had it happen a week ago.
Right.
So,
right.
The next logical step is I need to stall one of them. If I stall the mama, one, there's more poop to clean up, and two, there's more feed to provide for her. So stalling the calf just makes better sense to me.
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, it is definitely easier. So then when we do that, we separate at night.
Okay.
And then I come out, I milk mama, and then I bring the calf in, and I let the calf on the mama for like 30 seconds to get her to let down.
Okay.
I pull the calf off.
Okay.
Let him eat a little grain.
Okay.
They're usually
Right.
they're on grain by then. Let him eat a little grain while I finish milking out mama, and I will get everything I can get, and then I turn them together for the day. And lo and behold, immediately that calf jumps right on that mama, and that mama somehow has more milk.
Right.
So they do hold back for their babies. They know
Okay.
they're going to be back there with their baby, and then when we're ready to wean fully, around 6 months old. And that calf comes off mama for good. After usually the third or fourth milking, she will give me all the milk.
Okay.
So,
And so at what point do you like start calf sharing? I mean, are you like immediately pulling the calf off the mom at night, or are you
No.
giving them like a little
Well,
grace period in the beginning?
definitely. So I like to leave the calf with the mama full time, 24/7,
Right.
until I go out and milk and I'm not getting anything.
Okay.
You know, if I'm getting a quart of milk in my pail, it's not worth washing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, okay, so that baby is eating a lot, and it's time to start separating.
Okay. Okay. So you're still, I mean, immediately milking your milk cow when she calves.
Yeah.
You're just not pulling the calf off at night until you're not getting any milk.
And that's usually like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then at that point, we can make the decision to leave them together once a week or not.
Right.
And take a day off. But that first beginning part, I'm usually the way we do it, our mama calves, we leave them together for the first 4 to 6 weeks, depends on the calf and the cow. And I'm milking twice a day.
Okay.
For about the first 4 weeks, I'm milking twice a day until it becomes apparent that, I don't need the second milking. Usually that's what happens. I don't need the second milking for a couple of weeks to another 2 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes apparent that, I need 2 milkings and separate the calf. The calf's growing really well. And so we'll start separating at night. And then when I separate at night, I usually will only milk the once a day.
Okay.
And then when we wean, I milk twice a day again because she's used to being cleaned out all day long.
Yeah, so there's an adjustment period.
Yeah. So we'll do twice a day for about a month, and then I don't like that because, you will get more milk. So if you're looking for the most you can get, then that's a good thing for you. I don't like it because I have a life. So like I keep mornings for the farm and evenings, for kids' ball games and
there's other stuff.
Whatever.
Other stuff we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So how long are you letting your cows like stay in lactation? Or is it different for different cows?
It depends. I let life dictate this for me.
Okay.
If we're not moving.
Great answer. I like it.
It depends on the cow. It depends on what we have going on.
Okay.
It depends on if I'm able to get them bred. It
Okay.
depends on all kinds of things. So,
Okay.
we have done anywhere from 10 months because we've bred them again, and they do need a dry period before they calf again.
Yeah.
So if I've bred and we're going to calf in 2 months, I need to dry them off. And then, they had a good 10-month lactation. That would be the shortest.
Okay.
No, that's not true. I shouldn't say that would be the shortest. That would be the idealist shortest. There's
Gotcha.
some good farm grammar for you. But then so Maple I just dried her off. It's January. and she calved in July last year. So she had a short lactation by dairy standards.
Okay.
But I dried her off for several reasons. She wasn't producing that much.
Okay.
I think it's just the way this lactation went for her. You know, the people who I bought her from didn't know she was even pregnant when she calved. And so she didn't get good solid milking right in the beginning. I hope she does better with her next freshening. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But she just got down to where it was like not worth me milking her.
Right.
For how much feed I was giving her in the stanchion while she milked, she was
Right.
costing me money.
Right.
And it just didn't make sense.
Yeah. So I guess it's really different every single time.
It is.
It really just depends on the cow and the
Dolly
situation.
White out there, I got Dolly White. She was a year into lactation. Her owner said, no, she's not feeding her baby anymore. She doesn't have any milk. And we separated that baby after, I think, 2 months. We let them be together a month or two. And I started milking her, and she was 2.5 gallons every single day.
Wow.
So, yeah. She's got the tiniest little udder, too. And I don't know where she keeps that milk. but she did. So I just dried her off. We are in our second week of dry off for her.
Okay.
And we are 2 months shy of 2 years for this lactation, and it's her very first lactation.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a machine, man.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. And I mean, if they're hanging in there and all is going well.
Yeah, she was healthy. She wasn't low on weight.
Right.
She bred back.
Right.
I didn't have any issues with her. I didn't need to dry her off. So we let her go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love that it kind of sounds flexible a little bit.
It is a little bit. When you kind of figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is actually it for my list of questions. But I mean, I think that was a really great kind of intro to So You Want a Milk Cow.
So you think you want a milk cow, do you? Yeah, the best things I can tell people always to have a mentor.
Yeah.
Or somebody that you can call on. They don't necessarily have to come look all the time.
Right.
But somebody you can ask questions of.
Yeah.
Be very cautious of your group pages. I see a lot of bad advice being thrown around. I see a lot of new people. I see a lot of people answering questions who later say, well, I don't actually have a cow.
Right.
So just be careful when you're asking questions in a group.
Mm-hmm.
A really good book by Janet Groman is Grohman. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's called Keeping the Family Cow.
Okay.
It's an excellent book.
Okay.
I really like that as a go-to for just base, like normal cow temperature, presentation for calving.
Okay.
Just some basic troubleshooting stuff is in there.
Okay. Keeping the Family Cow.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yep. So this was fun.
This was fun. This was great. And I hope that whoever hung in here and listened to us talk about milk cows gleaned some wisdom from this. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to email us or get in touch with us through, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We're out there.
We're out there. Yep. Yep. Ask the questions. We're happy to talk about it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today, y'all.
Until next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.